Well, greetings, 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 family. This is going to be a very, very quick live, as a matter of fact. This is about health and how we can take our health back. Now, I know that those are some very weird looking pictures, but those are actual real pictures. If you go under a microscope, you will see that is that is a slide basically of the cold virus and a flu virus. Let's talk, shall we, about fighting for your life. Hi, get real. Peace to you, beautiful. And please share this with your family members as well. Back in the day, I gave a teaching, and it was about taste the rainbow. That's what I called it. And taste the rainbow, what that was about observing, peace to you. That was about fruits and vegetables and so forth. And it was also about my fight, Larry Misery Peace. It was also about my fight back to good health. I had went through a lot of issues. I had cancer and so forth 3 times. It was a bad time in my life. And if I had listened to the doctors, I would have just given up. I wouldn't have fought back for my life. So this is what this is all about. Let's talk about Josiah. ¿Cómo está? It is about taking back your life, taking back the lives of your family members. Derek Miles, hey, baby. It is about taking back your life, all right? And it is so possible to have good health. Something just happened to my beloved, most of the artists know, but he had a really bad seizure. And this is the first seizure that he's actually had. We didn't know that he had epilepsy. And as I was talking to his doctors, I said, he eats well. I feed him really good, and we've substituted a lot of things in our diet. How did this happen? And what we realized, and if you look at the warnings a lot of times, the warnings on video games, on computers, and so forth, they will tell you that looking at something for a long period of time, especially video games, especially monitors, computers, laptops, they can cause seizures. So, of course, I have been telling Energy, peace to you, baby. I've been telling the grandchildren and I've been telling their mothers, you have to limit their time on their gaming systems. All right. We were wondering why a lot of the children in the different cities were having more seizures. And that is why it was prolonged usage of their video games. But with my beloved, it was actually because he's in the stock market. So he watches his computer for hours upon hours upon hours. But not only that, now we're going to get into the picture that you see on the screen. All right? You have to make your immune system your battle armor. Jason, peace to you. Your immune system is almost like your best weapon, your soldier. All right? And if you don't put the right garments or the right armor on your soldier, what happens? Well, we all know he's defenseless. She's defenseless. This is the same thing with your immune system. What is your immune system? It fights off invaders. It's just that simple. How can you reclaim your good health? This is for you. This is for your mother. This is for your grandmother. This is for your brothers and sisters. Save your life and save their lives. They will appreciate and they will teach others how to do the same. And it is so very simple. Let me give you some of the keys. First, you have to boost your vitamin D and your vitamin A. That is, taste the rainbow. The different colors of the fruit and the vegetables. That is a rainbow. And I think back, and I always tell this story, I think back to the covenant in the Bible. As long as you see a rainbow, you will know that I will not destroy this planet. But to me, that went a little bit deeper because we know there are not a lot of analogies and so forth in the different books that have been passed down. But when I thought about the rainbow, the first thing I thought about was fruit and vegetables. And I said, whoa, whoa, I get it. That's the covenant. That is the covenant between the gods and man. As long as we are giving you these things, that's your armor. So you can fight anything. If you remember now, what is happening on our planet? We are destroying our rainforests, we're destroying our trees, and so forth. It is amazing that the children are now replanting trees because they know that in their lifetime, they're going to need their fruits, they're going to need their vegetables, right? Because these are gifts from our Creator. It's just that simple. If you think about the human body, everything that we need is already on this planet for its healing. Let's keep going. Vitamin D. Where can you find vitamin D? Well, we all know the sun. We are the children of the sun. Now that's a whole different topic. I can go very deep on that. But without the sun, we would surely die. So we know that that is one of our main sources of vitamin. Orange. Let's think about orange, the orange of the sun, sun. Let's think about other things, such as, of course, oranges, sweet potatoes, carrots. All of these things were created for our healing, not just because we enjoy eating them, but because they also serve a purpose. You see? Taste the rainbow. Let's keep going. We know that our habits can increase in these times when we are all stuck in our homes, when we're no longer working. What happens? Sneaking in veggies, exactly. And I'm going to teach you different ways to make certain dishes for your children that they will love. They will literally love. And they're made from vegetables. All right. But habits, we all know that now we're going to get into mental health later, but that plays a big part of being inside, not having human contact like we usually have. You know, when you would pass your neighbors and you would spend time with your neighbors, or you would go to your jobs and you would spend time with your coworkers, or even with your elderly parents that maybe you're not able to see anymore because you don't want to infect them with the pandemic, is what I call it. But still, you get where I'm coming from. So what happens as a result? Well, some people have more spendable cash now because of the government assistant programs. So, what happens now if you already were a drinker and now you have extra money coming from the government? Now you're going to be drinking more. Now you're going to be smoking weed more. Now you're going to be doing everything in excess because the government is now paying you a little extra to stay in your house and to stay happy while you're in your house. Don't fall for it, family. Next, this is where my beloved, he fell into the trap because he is a trader, like I said. He wasn't getting a lot of sleep because the stock market, it does sleep, but it doesn't. When you don't get enough sleep, what happens? You become defenseless. That's it. Because during your sleeping time is when your soldier rests, when it builds up, when it's ready to fight again. But if you don't allow your soldier time to sleep, time to rest, what happens? You remember a lot of battles were lost because their soldiers were tired. They were worn to the bone. It is the same with your body. You see? And I warn musicians, especially a lot of times, you must rest. I know that you want to make the best of the best every month, every year. I know that we get that. But what is it worth? If you're up until 5 in the morning 5, 6, 7 times a week, then your soldier is worn out. And then he can't fight for you. See, he fights inside of your body. She fights inside of your body. Without her, without him inside, then the outside does not matter. Cut off the stimuli. What is the stimuli? That is TV, laptops, cell phones, video games, and the likes. J. Brown, peace, baby. My beloved found that out. My son found that out. Others that have, they are prone to have seizures. They realize that video games, and they even tell you when you buy them, don't play us too long or else we're going to give you a seizure. See, sometimes we gawk and we laugh at things that are right in front of our faces. We say, "Oh, that can't happen to us." "Oh, yeah, cause a seizure." Yeah, okay. Until you're visiting someone and they've had a seizure. And the common denominator is too much stimuli. You would be amazed, my people, if you turn off your televisions, turn off your laptops, turn everything off. See how much better you feel in 1 week. A lot of times I'll disappear. I will disappear because I know what happens when I watch a screen for too long. Tell me it hasn't happened to you as well, that your eyes become blurry. Hmm? Hmm. And it puts you in a trance almost, especially in the YouTube community and other communities as well, that we have to see what's going on, you know? We're so consumed with the internet, ethernet. You see, is a net. It is called that for a reason. Etymology. Break your words down. Tanya, peace to you, baby. Break your words down. Internet. They could have called it anything. It's in plain sight, you all. I feel guilty when I tune out, but I be feeling burnt out some days. You have to tune out. You have to. Because a lot of times your soldier is telling you there are other things that are more important. Mm. Let's keep going, shall we? So we know lack of sleep. Let me tell you what lack of sleep does. And I warned Miss Tanya about this a lot too, that you have to get your rest. Remember, Tanya? You have to turn off the foolishness because that'll get into your spirit as well. And when you're watching certain things, the negative energy, doesn't it make you feel bad when you're watching horrible things? When you're watching YouTubers, Tanya, I'm talking to you. When you're watching YouTubers and it's so negative, you start feeling bad yourself. That's energy, baby. That is energy that can come through any device. But the lack of sleep, it also decreases your T cells' ability to attack viral invaders. Let me say that again. What you need to fight with, you won't have it. You won't have it because it's worn out. That is why we need more sleep. Our children are suffering in this time as well. Why? Remember when they were going away to school, some mothers and fathers, they do teach their children at home. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the children that are sent off to school. They had bedtimes, am I right? And by the time they got home from school, I don't know if your children are like that, but some that I've seen, when they came home from school, they were exhausted. Their little brains, their little bodies. They would get a snack. They would try to do their homework. They'd fall asleep on the table, and they'd be so tired, right? But now, because of the pandemic, the children are now at home. A lot of children that were in the school systems, they are now at home. What happens? The mothers are tired, the fathers are tired, but the children are wide awake. So now we have noticed that a lot of the children no longer have bedtimes. Well, you don't have to go to school, but now they have implemented the school online. So it is almost the same subject, the same thing. They still have to have bedtimes. I have been this way. My only problem, I have this computer. I don't watch TV. Well, get real. Actually, your computer is now your TV. It is. Yes, I'm exhausted. I have a 5 year old, 3 year old, and a 2 year old. Exactly. One thing that I've learned having multiples energy is this, having broke this habit. It's all right. Let me tell you how to break any bad habit. Are you ready for this? Substitute it with a good habit. I'm serious. It's just that simple. If you, if you, if you're on the internet longer than you expect, or if you look up and your days have gone by, but you've seen everything there is to see on the internet and on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and this and that, you've seen everything, but now your house is a wreck, or now you haven't made the calls you were supposed to make, or that laundry, now you don't have any laundry that's clean because you just had to see what everyone else is doing. And what happens? It wears you. It wears on you physically. It wears on you spiritually, emotionally. You get where I'm going with this, y'all. Lack of sleep. You're doing nothing except hurting yourself. This is why I say fight for your life. What is your life worth? What is it worth? Let me tell you, mothers with children. I had 4 daughters. I still have 4 daughters. I was exhausted raising my children. I mean, oh, there's always something to do. They were either president of their student body, or they were in the glee club, or they were in the debate club. And so not only did they have school, they also had extracurricular activities. And then they had to go downstate, and then they had to travel with their different organizations or their different teams. I was wearing myself ragged. And then my mother said something that was so profound, I will always remember it, and I'm going to give you this advice as well. You let your children know you are only one person. You're not five people. And that you have to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of them? Once I got that through my daughter's heads, once they realized that mom is wearing herself thin, and I also work for the juvenile court system. So I worked full time and I raised 4 daughters. And I felt as though I didn't know whether it was night or day. Like in the movie, what was my favorite line? I don't know whether to wind my butt or scratch my watch. That's how I was. So your children are small. You're going to have to sneak time for yourself. You are. And we're going to get into now a few other tips. Exercise. Exercise. Why is that so important? Because a lot of us now are sitting on our butts and we're watching the internet. We're watching what's going on. So we're sitting. But before, we were moving. Yes, and my husband wants time as well. And exactly. And you tell husband exactly like you tell the children. Mommy is only one person. And let me tell you something else. I'm going to go back into the next topic, exercise. But let me tell you something else. All of my children, even when they were small, even my grandchildren, they had responsibilities. They did. They did. They did. Help mommy fold clothes. Help mommy put clothes away. Help mommy pick up toys. Help mommy, so on and so forth. You get it, right? Your 3 meals, your 3 home meals. Prepare them in advance if you can. And this is what I did as well. I made huge, well, this came from being ex military. I did not know, we did not know how to cook just one meal. We had to cook for plenty because our husbands would bring their friends home and so forth, right? And if they were single, we always had to have extra food. So what I started doing to cut down time, I started making portion meals. So back in the day, they had these little portion containers where you could make your meals and you can put them inside of there and store them. That's what I started doing every Sunday. So when the girls would come home, they would have their lettuce, they would have their fruits, vegetables, they would have whatever. It was already prepared for them. That helped out so very much. And it took one day. It took just one day. So that way during the week, I knew that they were going to have their snacks. I knew they were going to have their lunches, so on and so forth. All right. Now, back to exercise. When you are sitting, well, I know energy is not sitting, but some of us are, we're sitting a lot more. We're watching a screen and so forth. This is what I do now. And everyone laughs when they come to see me. I'm always exercising. If I'm cooking, I'm exercising. If I'm folding clothes, of course, that's exercise. If I'm in my office, I will stand up. And that is why a lot of times you may not see me because I'll be doing stretches and bending and so forth. So spread it, grown children. So spread it, grown children. Not understand what you're saying, honey. But that's what I do. And I do this all day long because I know that I'm not on the road anymore with the artists. We're not going to South by Southwest. We're not going to our concerts. So I have to keep physically fit just like when I was always on the road. All right. So a lot of us, and some that may be watching later, they may not be able to move all of their extremities. Move whatever you can. If you're not able to walk, move those arms, do your stretches. All right. And get out, get out. I say that all the time. Do not stay in your home 24/7 because that's going to our next topic, which is mental health. But back to the exercise. Of course, we know what the sun does. It is healing. It is our best healer, if you ask me. But also, the fresh air. Now, I know there's a debate that this is airborne, the pandemic. They don't know if it's airborne. They don't know if it's they just don't know. What I can tell you is I am enjoying my fresh air. Now, of course, in my city, you have to wear your mask. I'm not telling anyone not to wear your mask. That is not what I'm saying. Well, better safe than sorry, I guess. I don't know. But I love to still go by my lake, even though it's frozen. I love to walk. I love to smell. That's just me. I have to have fresh air. Let's go to mental health now, because a lot of us are stuck in our homes. What happens? Depression. A lot of my gods and goddesses, earths, kings, queens, they have found themselves depressed. They may not be making the money that they used to make. Hmm. I'm talking to somebody. Yes, I am. They may not be making the money that they used to make. Or maybe because now they're not able to get around and be around people that encourage them. Now they have more time to think. And depression, it sets in. And we know that. I've seen it happen with so many that I love. I just want to be around my mother. That's what I kept saying. After my stepfather transitioned this time last year, my mother, I said, I have to hold on to my mother. But then I got sick. Yeah, it happens. My daughter, she had the virus. I went to take care of her. I don't know. I don't know. But I fought it. And here's the crazy part. We both fought it together. I said, now it's time we put to use. what I've talked about all this time. It took no time for me to heal, no time. And some of the artists, they were here during that during that time, but man, you talk about feeling good. You talk about loading up with the goodness of the earth. It made a big difference. Made a big difference. We take for granted water. How silly are humans, that we take for granted water. Other lands, other countries, they would kill for fresh water, for springs, for, and we have it and we take it for granted and we wonder why we're sick. Make that make sense to me. When everything we need, we already have, and we take it for granted and we worry about the things that are not important on this planet. You can't take money with you. How do I know that? My heart stopped. I went to the other side. I couldn't take shit with me. Nothing could I take with me except for my spirit. So does anything else matter? You can't take your children with you. No matter how much you love them, you cannot take them with you. Your parents cannot take your parents with you when it's time for you to transition. But when we shit on the life that we were given because it was a gift, because we did not have to be gifted with this gift, and when we know better, and when we're taught better, and when we still don't do what we know we're supposed to do, then you shit it on your life. Fight for your life, family. Let's talk about mental health as we close out. Check on your friends, check on your family members, artists, check on each other. Energy, check on your sisters and your brothers in the industry. Drop them a note. You good? That's all you have to say. You good? Question mark. You good? Get real. Check on your friends. Check on your parents. Check on. You never know that one call may be all they needed to know that someone cares about them in this time. They may be gone tomorrow. There's a song I want you to listen to. It's by Tamia. It's called Tomorrow. Listen to that song, and then it is a spiritual song, but it means so much. I did not know that my stepfather's last day would be that day I saw him the day before. And I tell this story often, that something told me to oil his feet and to give him a pedicure and massage his feet. He was in between worlds, in between realms. He was leaving me. And then so I thought about the Bible. My mother and father, they were pastors, but I thought about the Bible and how the young woman, oiled she oiled the prophet's feet, and she dried them and so forth, because she knew that he was about to leave, that his life ordained that he would leave. And I remember saying to myself, that is the last thing that I did for my father, is I oiled his feet. I can imagine that even though he was transitioning, he knew that that was my last offering to him, that his work here was well done, that that was the last thing that I could do for him on this planet. So with that, peace, power, understanding, wisdom, and light, fight for your life, fight for others, because you may not come again, you all. Peace, family.